Now that we have already know about the basics, so now let's proceed to our next part where we will be discussing on how to install WordPress into our project. And as a test sample, we can see that we have already completed a WordPress installation into our project. In that essence, the very first thing that we need to install into our machine is a localhost web server, and I use WAMP server in this purpose. So this is the thing that first of all needed to be installed into our machine in order to run our project at ease. So that is why we will be getting back to Google first, and here we will be searching for this WAMP download. And in the search list, the very first search item, this WAMP server, we will be right clicking here and we will be opening it into a new tab. And we can see that there goes the WAMP server official site from where we have to download our WAMP server. It is a very quick and easy installation process. All you need to do, you need to download this WAMP server off the internet. There it goes. It comes both in 64 bits and in 32 bits. So on clicking which, you will be getting a .zip file of WAMP server, and you need to extract it and then you need to install it into your machine. I could have shown you the way how it should be installed into your machine, but I have already installed a version of WAMP server into our machine, and that is why I think I am not going to have another test run here. The process is very simple. You don't need to worry. Once you get to this WAMP server official website, then the only thing that is needed to be done here is to download this 64 bits and this 32 bit option, any one of these, and then you need to install it into your machine. First of all, you need to extract the file, and after that you need to double click onto the .exe file that has been downloaded off the internet from this WAMP server official website, and the rest of the things is just some play next button type. There's nothing more complicated over there. But two things that needed to be kept in mind. The first one is, whenever you are installing a WAMP server, you need to have all those .dll functionalities. Those are required to run both the OS versions, that means this Windows 32 and this Windows 64-bit version. All those .dll functions, those will be needed to run this particular WAMP server. So you have to ensure that you have installed all the .dll functionalities or components into your machine, and if it is not, then you need to talk to your vendor to install those .dll functions into your machines. Or perhaps you will be getting two patches of the internet for x64 and x86 version. You need to install it and then you can install this WAMP server. Otherwise you will be continuously getting a error message dialog box, and possibly you cannot access WAMP server anymore if you do not have all those .dll functionalities. This is the first thing that you need to keep in your mind. And in the second case, after successfully installing WAMP server into your project, if you get to www directory, there it goes, you will see that there is an index.php, on opening which you will be getting the code inside it. But I am not changing anything into this software. The only thing that is needed to run WAMP server successfully into my machine, that is why I am making a very minor modification here. Look at this particular variable, this suppress localhost. It is now attributed to a false option. So if you find that this is true, then all you need to do, you need to change it to false. What it is exactly doing here, it is practically being used elsewhere where it is suppressing the localhost to display your web features. That means you cannot view any of your project into its web browser format, into a display format in your machine, because in this particular case this variable is set to a true version. This is inbuilt, and that is what you need to modify it. You need to set it to a false value, and only after that you will be able to view any of your web project into your machine, as we can see over here. So these are the things that needed to be remembered. First of all, you need to download and install WAMP server from the website, as we have discussed here. The link is provided in the description box below. And in the second case, you need to extract, then you need to double click on the .exe file, proceed as per instruction by pressing this next button repeatedly. And at the final stage, you will be observing that WAMP server is installed into your machine, and the icon will be appearing as this one. This is the WAMP server icon. If you double click onto this, you will see that this icon is now already present into your system tray. And if you go to localhost, you can see that these are the projects that we have built so far here. Another thing, this is the database option. There it goes, PHP MyAdmin. So this is the database. You can create, modify or delete databases, tables, anything that you want here. So there's absolutely no problem with it. It is a very lovely software to be executed. Now let's concentrate into installing the WordPress into our project. So let's proceed.